Hello, aloha, and welcome to League1 Ontario, our League1 Ontario weekly recap series, which will be your one-stop hub for all things League One. We'll be breaking down the biggest moments from the past week, previewing key matchups ahead, and bringing you exclusive interviews with the players and coaches. Whether you're a die-hard supporter or just discovering the game, we've got everything you need to stay in the loop. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications. Before we kick things off for the new season, let's take a quick dive with Nicholas Fiore at how the 2024 League One season unfolded. Off to you, Nick.
2024 was an exciting season in League1 Ontario. We saw promotion and relegation for the first time, and we saw the compete level rise, the fiery spirit and the passion on the pitch in the league. Promotion and relegation is a big deal. You want to fight to stay in the top division. You don't want to get relegated. And Skublak FC on the men's side did exactly that. En route to a 16-5-1 record, 53 points, crowning themselves champions of the men's Premier Division, booking their place in the Canadian Championship, April 29th, 7 p.m. kickoff versus Atletico Ottawa of the Canadian Premier League. Should be a big test for John Yaku's side. Can they get the job done? We'll see in a couple weeks' time. Second place was Vaughan Azzurri with 49 points. Third place was the Woodbridge Strikers with 37 points. Woodbridge were in first place all season, and they were doing good at the Grove in the Bridge, but they lost some players to NCAA route or U Sports route, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. With the promotion and relegation, we can see one or two teams from the men and women's side go up and down. On the men's side, we saw a double whammy, and we saw St. Catharines Roma Wolves and FC London, who got promoted from the Championship Division to the Premier Division, and then we saw Guelph United and Hamilton United got relegated from the Premier Division to the Championship Division. Meanwhile, the top scorer was Rashawn Walks, 18 goals for Vaughan last season, and second behind him in the scoring race was Woodbridge Strikers veteran Ronaldo Marshall, 16 goals. Skublak, can they get the job done in the Canadian Championship? Let me tell you, it's going to be exciting, and we're all rooting for them against Atletico Ottawa. In the League1 Ontario Cup in the men's side, it was 1-1 in regulation, 3-1 on penalty kicks, and it was Vaughan Azzurri taking down Daniels Henry and the Simcoe County Rovers, as Simcoe just almost got the job done. But my goodness, they're signing some players this season, and let me tell you, it looks scary there over at Simcoe. Meanwhile, on the women's side, it was no doubt for NDC Ontario, crowning themselves for the second time in 3 years, League1 Ontario Women's Premier Division champions, en route to a 15-1-2 record. 46 points, almost perfect all season long. Behind them was FC London's 38 points in second place, North Toronto 36 points in third place. The Interprovincial Tournament, who I had the pleasure of PA announcing there in Hamilton, at Hamilton Stadium, where NDC Ontario competed, and they did well, losing in PKs though in one of the matches as well, but they booked their spot in the Interprovincial Championship Tournament when you win League1 Ontario. Meanwhile, Blue Devils FC got relegated to the Championship Division, formerly known as BVBIA Waterloo. Waterloo United, now rebranded, got promoted from the Championship to the Premier Division in League1 Ontario. On the women's side of things, the League1 Ontario Women's Cup was victors going to FC London, defeating Jade Kovacevic's North Toronto 2-1. It's funny because you have Julia Benatti, formerly with FC London. You have Jade Kovacevic, formerly with North Toronto. Now both players get contracts in the new Northern Super League. Jade Kovacevic with AFC Toronto, Julia Benatti with Ottawa Rapid FC, and of course we can't forget April Latanier, who led the goal scoring for NDC Ontario, 11 goals. She also signs with AFC Toronto. So listen, it was an exciting season last year. The promotion and relegation really sparked an edge in these clubs and in these placeholders. Now, can we see more of that in 2025? I personally think it's only going to get bigger and better, and the competitive spirit now is going to be flying. Skublak, April 29th, 7 p.m. versus Atletico Ottawa in the Canadian Championship. Can they do it? Keep your eye out for that one. I'm sure it'll be on One Soccer, and we're all going to want to watch it. I'm Nicholas Fiore, broadcaster for League1 Ontario. Thank you. That was your 2024 season recap. Let's hope for an exciting 2025 season. Ciao.
All right, thank you, Nick, for that in-depth breakdown. And to cap off last season, I wanted to acknowledge the award winners for last year. So on the men's premier side, we saw Skublak take both Coach of the Year and MVP, going to John Yaku and Tomasz Skublak, respectively. However, on the women's end, The MVP went to none other than Woodbridge SC's Samantha Murphy, and we saw Coach of the Year going to the very experienced Garrett Peters of FC London. For all other MVPs, coach, goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and forward of the year awards, along with all-star selections for the Championship and League 2 divisions, please check out League1 Ontario's Instagram page and their website at league1ontario.com. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you for pouring your very best into League1 Ontario. As we promised to get interviews from the league's best players, what better way than to start with the reigning men's Premier MVP, Tomasz Skublak. Over the past couple of seasons, Tomasz has been absolutely dominant, scoring goal after goal, leading his team to be League 1 champs. Have a listen to Dexter Abrams' interview with Tomasz and pick his brain of what makes him such a strong player and expectations of the new season.
You were selected first team All-Star and ultimately won the most valuable player. So can you walk me through pretty much what you did to prepare for the season?
Well, it's a lot different now for me than what it used to be. After, last year, the year before, I think people have respect for me in the league. So that's one thing that, when I go into games, guys are already a little bit scared, and that kind of adds a different element for them as well. But in regards to preparation, it's a lot different than it was before, just because we're playing younger kids, right? League One is getting younger and younger. The majority of kids don't really work. So, it's a lot different what there is. But essentially just, going through what I have to do on a day-to-day basis to pay the bills, selling houses, and then going to training, making sure I'm there. And when I'm there, I'm 100% there. Just make sure all actively doing the recovery in the time that I do have, even though it may be shorter than what other people's have. But going in there, having a good attitude, having good communication with the teammates that I have, just understanding each other. I think we've done such a good job just because we've been together for 2 years. Everyone understands each other's rules, understands what kind of quality they bring and what what different characteristics they bring to the team itself. And I think just building on that, having a great coach, good sessions, high intensity. I think that's, the best preparation I can get. And not to mention, we're teams who has like a full-time athletic therapist there.
Oh, okay.
He's fantastic. He comes to our practices. He comes to our workouts. He's at every session. So that definitely helps keep it more professional, because if you take care of the little knocks here and there, then, you end up having less big knocks. And, that's why we weren't really missing a lot of players for a vast amount of the season last year.
Oh, yeah.
And that's important, especially since it stretches over like 20 games, right?
Yeah. Can you get into how you kind of balance your life off the pitch and on?
The coach, because he allows me to kind of manipulate the schedule a little bit more for me personally. So usually I wake up in the morning, basically work until training. Sometimes I'm late, sometimes I'm early, but he lets me manipulate it because he knows when I get there, I'll put the work in. And just getting to the sessions, the ability to work throughout the day is nice, just because I'm not always going 110%, but it is long days, and just getting that mentality once I actually get onto the field switched on to be 110% present. So guys being super supportive of it, as well as the coach.
Nice. And you feel like you have a good work-life balance?
Some people would say no, but I do love it. So I don't mind doing some 14-hour days followed by soccer, and, another day I'm working 5-6 hours. So a lot of people can't do that kind of stuff. I actually enjoy it. I'm more of someone who always has to be busy. And if I'm not, I feel like I'm wasting either my time or my energy, but I love it. I can't complain.
League One's been growing every year. What's your take on all of the new youngsters and the new teams that are pretty much hungry and coming up?
I mean, I can definitely see it more. We're getting a lot different League One seasons, especially from what years when I was playing, where you had teams fantastic, you had teams that were just like rock bottom, not very good at all. And usually when teams played the top of the table versus bottom of the table, you knew and you anticipated the result would be, a vast goal scoring game with the better team winning. More so now, I feel like the competition is kind of leveled a little bit more. Of course, you have teams that are better and teams that are a little bit worse, but realistically, anything can happen in any game. Like, last year, we only lost one game when we lost against Pro Stars. Pro Stars was a team that wasn't necessarily in the top of the table.
Yeah.
So literally anything can happen now, which I think adds another element. And I think that these young kids that are hungry to not only play League One, but potentially get opportunities in the CPL, it definitely shows in how they train and how hard they work on the pitch.
For an MVP like you, what advice would you give to the newcomers to League One or the youngsters that would maybe one day want to receive the MVP honors or go on to play at the next level?
I think the most important thing for them is to have a routine. That's number one. Number two is following it, even when you don't want to follow it. And then the third thing, I think, which for me might be the most important, and I see that now with more kids nowadays, is just being open to criticism from older people who have been there. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of sensitivity nowadays with, people giving you an opinion, but, guys hate me off the pitch and it's the reality of what it is. I mean, sorry, guys hate me on the pitch, but once they actually play with me, they understand the only why because I want them to do better and I can see potential in them. So I think just being open to, criticism, people telling you what you need to work on. And even now, like I learned from 19-year-olds, some things that I, never thought that I'd be open to learning. And I think that's because my mom is 27, whereas I thought of these younger guys who are better than maybe their age group players are a little bit more narrow-minded. So I think opening that up, allowing coaches to give them criticism and players to give them criticism, and then just asking questions. Like it's the same thing with, what everyone does on a day-to-day at work. How do you ask questions? That's essentially what advice I'd give for these youngsters that are coming up there.
Nice. And do you have a pre-game routine or ritual or habit that you always consistently follow?
I do now. I didn't more so have beforehand, but like lead days specifically, little work possible. I have a nice light breakfast. And if it's a midday game or it's a nighttime game, I'll have like a light lunch. But if it's a mid-time, like, 12 to 4 o'clock game, I will definitely not eat anything, be light. And I'll have a nice double espresso before the game and then just hydrate, listen to music with the guys, communicate, what we want to do, the plan, and just kind of get my head, switched on and prepared for what's the next 90 minutes is going to come.
With a tough, long season, how do you stay consistent throughout?
Repetition, not reputation, repetition. So the biggest thing for me is, as I've been playing throughout my, career, I feel like, you can have bad games, right? Everyone has a bad game and it's okay to have a bad game. But not really digging myself too deep of a hole when I make mistakes on the pitch, and just understanding that everyone does make mistakes. And, if 2, 3, 4 mistakes are stringing along, in a row in a match, for example, I just try and make a simple pass, like one step at a time, do something successfully, simple pass. And then the other thing that I think is super important for anyone who's trying to be consistent is, hard work beats talent. So when talent isn't working, hard work will definitely win. So if you're having a great game, if you're, out 110% effort and people can see that, I think that's the thing that's very good about our team. We have a lot of guys that are bought in that sense, and which is why we've been having good results over the last 2 years.
And what would you say your biggest takeaway from that 2024 season was for you and your team?
I think the biggest takeaway was definitely a lot of guys League One can play in CPL. I think that was our biggest takeaway. We've seen guys that are moving up that, good for them, good on them, but we've played against them. There's a lot of guys moving around the League One that are moving up to CPL, whether it's on an OUA scholarship or whether it's on an actual contract. And it's good incentive for somebody that don't get for sure. So that takeaway, as well as anything can happen. Like I said, Pro Stars beat us in a game that we definitely should have won. And we've had good exhibition games preseason against some CPL teams that, we had good results in. So, showcasing that any play at a level, depending on how hard they work and the effort, what they do off the pitch to be able to perform on the pitch is our biggest takeaway. And then hard work always wins.
And what was your favorite moment of the season?
My favorite moment of the season was probably the second last game we were tied in the 90th minute, and Manny scored the game winner for us to clinch the league. I think that was my favorite moment of the season. I have it clipped up on my phone with like this really, really funny song behind it, and it's definitely a memorable moment, not only for him, as it was probably like his only goal in his career, but for us in general. Yeah.
Yeah. As,
It's a Celine Dion song. My Heart Will Go On. That's the song that's clipped. Yeah.
everybody kind of just like,
yeah. And then everyone kind of ends up on there. So it was cool.
that's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah.
And the season's coming up. What are things some things you're looking forward to? Do you have a amount of goals that you feel like you want to score? Anything you want to accomplish this season?
Honestly, I think the accomplishments that I want this season is, one, for our team to be successful. Having a good performance against Ottawa in the Canadian Championship, that's definitely, high up there on the priority list. But guys, to get cases maybe move up next year into the CPL, because some guys do want to do that.
Yeah.
And necessarily how many goals I want to score as many as I possibly can. But more importantly, I want us to win. So if you're asking me whether I score 15 goals and we win, or I score 30 goals and we lose, I'd rather score 15 and win.
All right, thank you, Dexter. And also to Tomasz, thank you for giving us your time just before the upcoming season. We'll all be looking forward to watching you put more goals in the back of the net and see if Chrysopi can retain their title. Now, with that being said, it's time to get into the new 2025 season, and we have two juicy Match of the Week previews. For the men's side, we will be seeing Oakville SC take on the new kids on the block, Railway City FC, and what better way than to have our very own Carlisle Fizette preview the match with both coaches.
Yeah, our focus right now is on the opening weekend when we both of our teams play our cup games. Now is on the Sunday, and we're at home against the new club in the League One. So it's an exciting time for everybody here at our club, because it's in theory the first year now for Oakville Soccer Club, albeit the blend and the merge with the Blue Devils has gone exceptionally well. But it's a new look and a new vibe, and we're all looking forward to it.
How do you feel, I guess, looking ahead to this season then, coming in obviously in a bit of a transitional mode, when you're establishing measures of success, what this season will look like for you? What are some goals that you're going to maybe impart on your players this season?
Tell you in about 6 weeks. The changes to the league and the way the league's modified in the last few years with required minutes for various age groups has changed the dynamic significantly. So that has a big impact on what we do, and it certainly has a big impact for myself and the other head coaches across the league when you're trying to recruit. We have to manage all that, but that's no different to everybody else in the league. So I think once we get running for a couple of weeks and we can analyze everyone else, we'll have a better idea. But I'm confident we've put together a squad that's quite versatile and a nice mixture of graduated youth players and some returning senior players. So I think we've got our corners covered to be competitive. But again, we don't have a crystal ball. We'll have to see how we go once we get going. It's we've been seeing some of the teams around the league, and already the level looks exciting. So I think it's going to be a great season.
Obviously, you play every game to win. I think this first cup game will be, a significant challenge. But we're excited about the opportunity. In terms of our focus, we're definitely not putting all our eggs in the League One Cup basket. I think for us, it's important to keep our focus on league and making sure that we put ourselves in a position to qualify for the playoffs, and that's kind of our goal where we're at. And we want to be in the last few weeks of the season playing to get into a playoff spot. So that's our goal, that's our expectation, and that's what we're working towards.
How about kicking off the season with a cup match? How do you feel about that dynamic of how the season is structured with a traditional league format and a cup right off the bat?
Yeah, I think the idea of the League Cup is awesome, and we're thrilled to be a part of it. Obviously, a tough task for us coming up against a men's premier side, not only a men's premier side, but also one with pedigree and history of success that Oakville's had in League One. So, we're excited about the opportunity, and we're in I assume, similar boat to most League One teams, where a lot of the first team players aren't back yet from schools, and so kind of dealing with that piece. But so we'll have a lot of U20 players in the roster for the match on next Sunday. So, but yeah, we're really excited about the opportunity and to kind of see where we're at.
Given your roster situation right now, if even just a name or two of players that you'll be maybe leaning on this season, or that you're excited about what they can contribute for the upcoming campaign?
Yeah, so Alan Monyard is we're hoping to be a big piece of our program this year, not only this year but moving forward. Alan plays at Western University, and we're expecting him not only on the field but off the field to be a big piece of what we're doing. And then we have a few players joining us from the States in terms of like that are away on scholarship that are originally from London. So we're excited to get some of those guys back, and we feel like we have a good nucleus of talent, but also some experience to help a lot of our younger players out.
Thank you to both coaches, Duncan and Rob. Good luck on the game and for the rest of the season. And to save the very best for last, let's send it over to Zaz Sheikh to preview the women's match of the week between Skrosopi and Pickering.
Hi everyone, my name is Azaz Sheikh, a new contributor to League1 Ontario content this season, and I'm excited to bring you a preview of our second match of the week for week 1. The game itself is in the Women's L1 Cup 2025, which is why I had to represent with the GOAT herself. And the game is this Saturday, April the 12th at 5:30 p.m. Now, this match is going to see Skrosopi FC's women team, and they're going to be taking on Pickering FC women. And we're excited to see how this journey unfolds. We'll have lots of Skrosopi FC content coming, including the league's MVP interview this week. And one thing that I have to mention again is this is a cup match. So winner takes all. It's going to be an amazing way for Skrosopi to start their League One season. With a high stakes fixture, immediately they can make a statement against Pickering FC. And can you imagine what it would mean for the whole program to get past a team like Pickering in this first round? And it's at home as well. So you can imagine the atmosphere will be pretty lively there. But with every other cup match, there's always the other side. And, we've got the other Skrosopi content coming, so we had to bring you some content also from Pickering FC. So I'm delighted that I've got the first team manager, Peter Hogg, for this interview coming at you now. Okay, so now I do have with me the first team manager from Pickering FC, Peter Hogg. Peter, how's it going?
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm actually right now with groups, and I'll tell we played Niagara and we played Canisius today. So yeah, I'm doing well.
Very cool.
On the US side. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, before we start looking forward to this Saturday's game, just give us a bit of an intro into who Peter Hogg is, your role at Pickering, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So I've been at Pickering football 15 years. I've coached all the way from grassroots, OPDL, and now I'm League 2, U19 League 1 reserve before it was U20. And now I'm coaching the first team, the League 1 Women Championship team. So I'm excited about that. I guess my role right now, I also coach the 08 OPDL team. My role right now, coaching the first team, is to kind of the movement of the players from 08 to U20 to League 2 to League 1 Championship, especially early on in the season. With so many players, like all the clubs would be in the same boat in university, and just managing all that, of course, with the technical staff at the club who were extremely supportive. So I'm working closely with Barry Donnelly, who's a high performance manager. He's doing a great job to support us, give us field time. The club really supports the League 1 team. We have very excited with the little things that we're going to do, and we're going to tell the players about that. And of course, they've recently appointed Stuart Neely as our operation. Very experienced, and he's helping to share his knowledge with all the coaches in the club. So right now, club's in really good shape.
Very cool. Very cool. So obviously from the women's side, all eyes are on this Saturday with a cup game to kick us off. How do you manage expectations heading into that match? Because obviously it's the cup game as the first game of the season, so there's no previous for the season. How do you manage expectations going into the game?
Well, I mean, the objective always for Pickering Football Club for the first teams, the male and the female, is to win the match. As I said before, you have players that aren't back from school. We're lucky that we have a deep female program with our 08s, our 07s, which are the U20 team, and some of the League 2 players, most of them are at university. But we have some experienced players, and we have some younger players that um, that we're going to bring in early on in the season until we get them all back. But preparing the players, we bring them in, the players that we have. We go over what we're going to do when we have the ball, when we don't have the ball. And really what we're working on is our shape in and out of possession. So we can kind of take the stress off the players so they know what they're going to do when we have the ball, when we don't, so that they can play freely and make their own decisions and things like that. So that's the focus right now.
Very cool, very cool. And the first match is a knockout. Does that change anything from your preparation side, making sure the team's sharp and switched on, or is it business as usual?
I would say it's business as usual, but a cup competition is a little bit different, and there's a finality to it. Like one goes on, and one's done from the cup. Like our objective is to win every competition that we're in, so we're going to work on things like perhaps penalty shots. If we're in that situation, we'd have to prepare before the match who we might want on the field at those times. And the strategies that we're going to put in place might be slightly different in a cup game than it would be a league game. But really, it's a match of football over 90 minutes, and our objective is to win the match within those 90 minutes.
Very cool. So Scrosoppi will be coming into this one hungry. They've got nothing to lose. It's the inaugural program for their women's side. What challenge are you expecting from them?
Uh, well, I mean, it's a home match for them, so right
Yeah.
away, I mean, we'll be traveling, and that's challenging. They're going to be more comfortable on their home pitch. I expect Scrosoppi will be similar with us. They'll have a mixture of their younger players and older players. The game may not be as fluent as it may be mid-season, but I'm sure as we are, we're going to be prepared, and I'm sure Scrosoppi are going to be prepared to win the match. So we're looking forward to it, and we're going to put our best foot forward to try to win the match in the 90 minutes.
Very cool. So with that blend of youth and established players, who in your squad, if there's anyone, do you see stepping up as a leader this Saturday, either vocally or leading by example? Anyone you got your eye on?
Well, I mean, we have a good leadership group in the team. We have some experienced players that played, a high level university football. So I'd say like Briandeza would be good. We call her Buckets. Very experienced player. In my opinion, could play at the highest level, probably professionally. But people move on with their lives now, and they got to get jobs and things like that. I would say Tamara Brown. Very, very good player who actually was in our club when we won the League1 championship, but he's come back. I don't want to say an older player, an experienced player. So Tamara will be a big part of that. Kristen Betancourt's been with the club last year, and she's going to give her leadership. Hope Windabank is going to be a big time player for us. And, together, they've shown leadership throughout the winter, especially training with the younger players, which was great for the older players. Because as I said, we have really good depth on the female side. And, they're helping along the younger players who are going to be moving on to, universities in the U.S. and Canada. So their experience has been great with the club. And I also got to say, like, the club's doing a really good job in having our older players and our younger players who are involved with the grassroots programs. But the older players have been coming with our grassroots and familiar with the senior players in the club that they're going to come out to support us. And the club has done an amazing job in their season ticket drive. Some really smart marketing ideas led by Nina, who's been at our club for a long time. So it's going to be exciting. The key is to have everybody engaged, and I think right now the club's in the right direction. But definitely those players I mentioned, amongst others, who I may have forgotten, but for me, it's not about one captain or two captain. It's like we need 20, 25 leaders on the group, for us to have success.
We'd love to profile a couple of the players that you just mentioned as well, because obviously the more we get to know the players, the more we can even chart their progress as well with, some of these folks. I'm sure will go on to do great things, like you said. Last question, any predictions for this weekend's game, or maybe one thing you want to see your side doing well?
Well, I don't want to give too much away to the opponent.
Sure.
I don't know if this is coming on before or after, but I think we'll win the game. Anytime we go into a match or any team that I'm in charge of, I'm confident in the group that we have. We have a really good group. I'm not going to give a score line, but I think we're going to win the match. I think our team will be, we're going to press, we're going to work hard, we're going to try to win the ball high up the field. In football now, everything's about transitional moments, so I think we'll utilize our pace to create goal scoring opportunities, as well as control the ball and dictate the tempo of the match. And I think we'll do that. So I know Scrisapi will be prepared, but I think come out on top. We're looking forward to the challenge. We just take really one game at a time, so we don't look ahead to winning the cup. We win one round, and you win the next one. You go on cup competitions. You need a little bit of luck as well. But we're excited. The club's excited. The players are excited to get it going.
Amazing. Peter, thanks for your time today. Looking forward to the game first, but also catching up with you in person, and can't wait to have you back on.
I appreciate it. And of course, if you want any of our players, I think they would do a great job in promoting the league, and definitely our club. We have really good players, but better people and within the club. So thank you for promoting the game and promoting Pickering Football Club. And we definitely look forward to the season and maybe touching base again.
Absolutely. All the best. Thank you.
All right, everyone. That's everything that we have for the opening weekend. The year is just starting and is promising to have tons of storylines all the way from the Women's Premier down to the U20 divisions. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment. Also, we would love to hear from you, so drop your thoughts in the comments. Who's your team? What your predictions are for the match week and even for the rest of the season. We'll be back with more highlights, previews, and exclusive interviews. Until then, keep the passion alive, and we'll see you pitchside.